Good evening, everybody. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. I know what day of the week it is. I don't know. It feels like it should be Saturday still. I don't know. Maybe it's because I did nothing all day. Did nothing all day today. Oh. And yesterday, what did I do yesterday? Also nothing. Sorry, sorry if my expressions are a little janky today. We are back with the regular webcam. So I must take upon this less intensive form, I guess. Otherwise, my facial expressions would be very, very janky. Because today is Sunday, which means it is our typical, usual Succession Sunday. Let's go. Speaking of which, I just remember I gotta put in the little note thing, the message in the Discord. Forgot about that. And then I'll also share with you guys the poll. Yes. At the end of every Suck Sunday stream, as per usual, we take the sucks poll, which stands for the Succession Character Exchange Stock. Let me know which characters you are investing, selling, and skipping this week. Also, would love to hear your thoughts about the show, considering we are now about more than halfway done, because we're literally about to finish the final season of the show. Oh no, we're about to start it. We're about to finish the second to last season. Where is the PowerPoint? One sec. The PowerPoint is right here. We go. There it is. If you guys are having a lovely Sunday so far, if you'd like to mark yourself present for today's Suck Sunday stream, I would love to see... I don't know. I guess any emoji that you have to share about the show. What emojis are you associating with the show thus far? I would love to hear about it. Yeah. Let's just go ahead and jump straight into it. We're recapping episodes 7 and 8 of season 3. Episode 7, Too Much Birthday. At Kendall's lavish birthday bash, Shiv and Roman try to arrange a meeting with Lucas Matson, a tech mogul who recently snubbed Logan. So let's see, he snubbed Logan and by saying that like he wanted to do a meetup, but then he like actually didn't meet up in person or something. Doing like a little bit of a peacocking to show his dominance, I guess. I look so surprised. I don't know why I'm looking so surprised, but yeah, that's what happened. I'm gonna read the synopsises and then we'll just go straight into my notes because I think that might be a better flow. I got a lot of notes. I didn't think that I would take so much notes last week, but I do got a lot of notes. After that, we have Shire. I think I said that okay. Logan and Kendall have their first meeting together with... Oh wait, sorry, that's... That's the wrong synopsis. Wait, let me grab it. I didn't update that part. Shire. Oh, that's long. Okay, after a tense board meeting to discuss acquisition of Matson's Gojo, Roman shares his suspicions about their mother's new beau. Or is it boo? How do you pronounce it? Boo? Beau? With Shiv. As a Lux family wedding gets underway in Italy, Jerry draws a line in the sand with Roman. The Waystar team grows increasingly concerned about Matson's rogue tweets, and Shiv and Caroline have a heart-to-heart of sorts. So we do learn a couple episodes ago that Shiv, Roman, and Kendall's birth mother is getting married to a guy named Peter Munyon. You know, before that they mentioned like some other guy that she was dating for like a year or something, and then Peter Munyon comes out of nowhere after a few months. And yeah, I'll just get straight into my notes. I feel like it'd be easier for me to explain that way. Han, welcome. I hope you're having a lovely Suck Sunday. Every Kendall scene recently just cringing and face palming. Exactly. Let's talk straight about his birthday. I'm gonna leave this one up for a second. But talking about his birthday song. We open up the episode to him wanting to sing what was it? It was like a Billy Joel song, right? Do I have it in here? I don't know if I wrote it down what it is, but he wanted to sing a Billy Joel song, and he I don't know, I'm jumping ahead in my notes, but he kept mentioning about how he doesn't want it to be like an asshole's birthday, but literally like every single thing that he's planned, it's like, come on Ken, look in the mirror. Ken's birthday song, he said that he wants it to be funny, but the way that he sung it was so earnest and serious, and honestly like not half bad, I guess. I mean, you know, people can cringe so much at L to the OG, dude be the OG, and he playing, but it's he had a banger. And I feel like sure would we have cringed for eternity if he were to sing this birthday song at his birthday party? Yes, but it would have been low-key iconic. It would have been like the most Kendall Roy thing to have ever Kendall Royed. Let's see. I also put down the Gojo deal is on. The new plan. So basically, they want to eat up Gojo so that way they can be... Is the proxy battle? They didn't settle that, did they? No. Did they settle that? With the board seats. We're getting so far into the series that now I'm starting to like be like, what's going on? I'm losing track of the business stuff. But yeah, either way, they want to do a merge or like acquisition of Gojo. Kendall, he doesn't have. Oh yeah. We do learn that Mr. Tom Wamsgams is free from federal like incrimination. Like we learned that basically they're getting away with it scot-free. Let me go ahead and throw the memes up onto here. Basically, Waystar is getting away from everything scot-free, the whole cruise park scandals, because there just wasn't enough evidence to like really back it up. And then Jerry also mentioned that they had you know, the government was really appreciative of Waystar's cooperation with the investigation. So Tom is free. He is no longer has the weight of jail time looming over him. And he, you know, made a good impression on Logan. Logan walked by him and he put his hand on Tom's shoulder and he said, "I'll remember this. I'll remember their favor." So Tom's in a good position, in my opinion. He's in the inner circle. He's put his life on the line for the betterment of the company, and Logan is directly aware of that. So yeah, pretty good. In Tom's celebration, oh my god, I don't have a picture for this saved. In Tom's celebration, he goes to Greg's office. I was gonna say his room, his apartment. He goes to Greg's office and he rages out. He wait, I have to get this picture first. Tom Greg. Okay, let me just download this. Okay, alright. Okay, what was I saying? Tom, in his excitement, he goes to Greg's office and he's, you know, flipping Greg's desk over. He's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm free." He's crashing out in a good way. And yeah, he breaks the news to Greg, and they share a very tender moment. A very, very tender moment. Oh, wait. Are there any new memes in here? he plants a lovely little kissy. Here, let me just add it again. A lovely little kissy on Greg's forehead. Which is crazy. Let's see, let's keep going. Oh, there it is. There it is. If Tom Greg fans are eating this season, we get... I can't believe that was the season. We get I will castrate you and marry you in a heartbeat, and then in the next episode, or like the next episode after that, like within 3 episodes, we get a marriage proposal and we get a kiss. How lucky are we? The Fujoshis are eating tonight. Anyways, yes, we do get a lovely Tom Greg kiss. A nice little tender moment. Tom is now off the hook, and like I said, he has the favor of Logan, so things are looking up for him right now. Minus his relationship with his wife. I think that that's really, you know, everything else is looking up, but that one is kind of on the rocks for sure. More about Kendall's 40th birthday party. We do hear a lot about how much he wants his siblings to be there. And when he gets noted, like when Comfrey says that they're a maybe, he's, you know, clearly a little bit sad about that. He, like, despite everything that's going on between him and his family, he still wants, you know, them to be there at his birthday party. We also learned that Lucas Matson is going to Kendall's birthday party. Lucas Matson is the, I think, founder and CEO, or at least just like the head guy for Gojo, which is the streaming service. There he is. This is a little bit later in the series, but it's the only Lucas Matson picture with a quote that we've heard that I could find. So yeah, we do learn that Matson's going to Kendall's birthday party. I think that it's safe to say that Matson is sort of like an eccentric, maybe combination between Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg as in like his... well, I mean, I guess you could say the same about Elon Musk too. Elon Musk is being like, you know, like the zany kind of like trigger finger happy when it comes to like making tweets and stuff. We see that Matson's sporadic tweeting has been a bit of an issue with Waystar, because he tweeted something about like feeling lucky and like going to the casino or something, which leads to a lot of speculation for like, I don't know. I don't know enough about business or finance, but that's as far as I can get. That it leads to like speculation. Either way, Waystar does not like his tweeting. They find that to be a bit of a liability. I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit, but yeah, he's combination of Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg type of figure. We also hear a little bit about Roman's Oedipus complex. Yes, because at Kendall's birthday party, he modeled the entire party as being the life of Kendall Roy or something. So the very first thing that you do when you go past like the check-in counter, you enter into a like birthing room. Is that what it's called? But yeah, you're basically delivered as a baby and you're welcomed into the life of Kendall Roy. And Roman is kind of joking a lot about being in his mother's birthing canal. Talking about, oh, so if I'm doing this, I'm repeatedly entering and exiting my mother. Like, okay, nasty. We also learned that he's kind of like no longer with Tabitha. Tabitha is the girl that he brought to Tom and Shiv's wedding, the girl from season 1 who did the closed loop system on Tom. They've been kind of on and off, but I think it's safe to say that his sights are fully set on Jerry, it seems like, for the time being. Let's see. In my notes, I also put the Tom and Greg prove it scene. This is just another Fujoshi marking. Where Greg, he talks about wanting to ask out Comfrey, who is the blonde girl that works for Kendall's like PR or whatever, or like his assistant kind of. So he talks about wanting to ask out Comfrey. Tom's talking about like, oh my god, like she's so out of your league, like you'll never be able to pull a baddie like her. And Greg is like, okay, well if you're able, like, okay, well you pulled Shiv, so he said you pulled Shiv, so how do you do it? Tom says I have a He says, I have a dick as big as a red sequoia and I fuck like a bullet train. And Greg responds, well, prove it. Prove it. I don't know. That was just like a really funny moment that I don't know. I wanted to write it down. Let's see. Kendall, he has a need for control with Connor keeping his coat on. He told everybody to keep their coat on, to leave their coat at like the coat check-in. He wanted everybody to, he's like very image conscious. Like he was crashing out over the fact that Connor leaving his coat on made his party seem cold, and like him leaving his coat on also probably made other guests feel like they wanted to leave their coat on. I don't know, but I think you could see like his need for control and like obsess with image and like how things are perceived, I guess. I don't know. I'm trying to make sense of my notes in real time. The party is clearly an ego boost, his birthday party. You see his siblings immediately see through it. As soon as they arrive to the party, Kendall's like, oh, wow, my siblings are here. You guys made it. And he's like, wow, everybody that's important in my life is here. And then they're all kind of like, oh, where's dad? Where's mom? Where are your wife and kids? Like, none of them are here. It's just all like, it's more of like a, who does Kendall Roy know and can get him to his birthday party? Kind of like a flex on them 40th birthday party. Definitely ego driven. We also later see that it's mentioned that his kids made him a gift, like a handmade gift, and he goes crazy over the fact that he can't find it in his mountain of gifts from people that he doesn't care about. I also wrote down his girlfriend-ish, Naomi Pierce. She gives him a watch, which he, I think, alludes to being a bit meaningless, because he's like, well, I already have a watch, like I don't need any more watches. Like, well, is it at least inscribed or something? I think that he's very desperate for connection. Ooh, maybe even like his own familial connection, because he's been, you know, after season 2 calling out his dad, he's been like, you know, the adversary within his own family. He's been the black sheep within his own family, like kind of cut out from them. I don't know how long it's been since like in the universe, but you know, I think we could assume like a couple weeks or months where he hasn't really had consistent contact with his family. So he probably does feel really lonely, and he needs something that's like sentimental in order to feel like connection. I wonder if he feels like very like distant from just everything, especially because he's just been sniffing his own farts and like, you know, trying to get attention from people who don't really care for him at the end of the day, trying to impress just like the general public, I guess, right? With like his own little like crusade, what do you call it? Virtue signaling. Yeah, his little virtue signaling crusade where he's, I mean, I don't know, I think it's like right for him to call out like all of the wrongdoings that happened on the cruises, but just to me it just doesn't really feel like it's coming from a sincere enough place for him to feel like okay about it. I think if it was sincere, he probably wouldn't be crashing out this hard. But then again, it is Kendall Roy, so maybe he would crash out regardless. But yeah. Let's see. Also at his birthday party, he has all of these fake newspapers, which touches on a nerve for each of his siblings. I did not grab a screenshot of this. I should have. But one of the things that, let's see, what are some of the stuff? I think like for Romans, he mentioned like Roman being like a sex pest. He also mentioned Shiv being like, not even like the newspaper headline was in her name. It said wife of Tom Wamsgam. So I think that that's like, you know, he knows that saying something like that would hurt her, which is also just kind of like another dig at their relationship, I guess. Like everybody knows that their relationship is really just like, I don't know what the word for it is. Not fake, but you know, it's not the model relationship. And then the example that I wrote down explicitly was Connor for Connor, I don't even remember what he wrote down for Connor, but I remember that Connor's concern was that if someone were to take a picture of the newspaper while he's at the party and sharing that around, and that it would look bad on his presidential campaign. And Connor, he was really hurt by that. He took it really seriously. And he was talking about, like, you know, how I took you guys camping and this is how you guys treat me, and like dad wasn't even bothered to like do that kind of stuff with you guys, but I was the one who stepped up. I'm not the stepdad, I'm the one who stepped up, basically. No, actually, I'm not the stepbrother, because he is their stepbrother. I'm not the stepbrother, I'm the brother who stepped up. And, you know, so we learned that he did take them camping because Logan couldn't be bothered to do that. And then in the other episode, we also learned that Connor took Roman fly fishing because I guess Logan also couldn't be bothered to do that kind of stuff. So Connor, being the older one, even though he's constantly dismissed as someone who's like not serious and not really like one of the main ones in the family, I guess. Like I feel like they still look at him as a brother, but like he's not like he's clearly different, you know? He's clearly like a lower tier brother, despite being the oldest one. And it's a shame that he doesn't get the respect from his siblings that he, quite frankly, deserves. Because I don't know, he did try his best as the older brother to give his siblings a very nice childhood, I guess, at least to the best of his ability. I don't know like what exactly the age difference is, but I feel like it's gotta be like around 10 years, maybe a little more. On the bright side, he isn't back on drugs, yeah. I was kind of surprised that we didn't see any, you know, freakish drug use from Kendall at his 40th birthday party. We did! There is, I don't know if it's like a TikTok or something, of Kendall. He was smoking that blunt right in the beginning of the episode, and someone was like, why is he deep throating it? Because he pulls it out of his mouth and it was literally like halfway in his mouth, which is like, ew. Imagine like someone passes you like a ciggy or something, or you know, like a J or whatever, and they've been like, they pull it out and you're just like, damn, it was really that deep down your throat the entire time? Like, ew, ew. Maybe he's smoking it alone, but I don't know. That's the only drug that we saw him on that episode, at least. Eric, welcome. I hope you're having a lovely time zone as well. Wait, what time is it actually? Oh, it's 5:40 already. Okay, all right, let me speed it up. Let's see. Oh, Logan wanted Roman to give Kendall a birthday card which said happy birthday, which was crossed out, and instead said cash out and fuck off. I thought that was so petty, because it's like you went through the trouble of getting a card that specifically said happy birthday just to cross it out. But yeah, that's the classic savage Logan, so petty, always competing with his children. But we learned that he kind of offers Kendall to sell his shares for $2 billion in order to never take part in the family business ever again. So yeah, basically, like he said, cash out and fuck off. Shiv at this moment realized that Roman this is where my notes kind of overlap over each other, because I was scribbling really bad, so I'm gonna have trouble reading this. Shiv realizing Roman, basically Roman is the new chosen child. Roman is heir apparent. She realizes that because her dad did not want her involved with the whole gift giving thing. Like, she wasn't looped in on that. And so she copes with that by dancing on the dance floor. She takes like a shot or something, and then she dances like crazy on the dance floor. My next notes, I cannot read this at all. Something, the seed. Oh, yes. So Kendall, he does go up to Lucas Matson in the little treehouse area, the little VIP treehouse area, and he sows the seed in Matson's mind and says, I don't think that you should be bought by Dad. If anything, I think you should buy Waystar. Because, you know, your brand is a lot stronger, you have better tech. Waystar is like a dying, like, legacy media company. I think it should be the other way around. We don't see Lucas follow that idea, but he does later on suggest a merger of equals with Logan, and I think I have notes about that later. Let's see. Kendall says it feels like an asshole's birthday party, which is like one of the things that he wanted to avoid. And I'm just like, dude, it's because it is an asshole's birthday party. It's your birthday party, Kendall. That's inevitable. Another thing was that Kendall was being so fucking mean to Greg, dude. We got so many this whole season. We have just Kendall just shitting on Greg, despite Greg being the one who gave him this whole layup in the first place. If it wasn't for Greg's evidence, what would Kendall have? To, like, sure, maybe the evidence amounted to nothing in the grand scheme of things because he could only, like, you know, a lot of it was burnt and he was trying to pocket what he can, but dude, be nice to my boy, okay? So first we have the whole watch situation from a couple episodes ago. He sets Greg up with a watch supplier. Greg this whole time is under the impression that Kendall is going to buy the $40,000 watch for him, and then in the last second, in front of everybody, he's like, no, I'm not gonna buy a watch for you. I told you I'd hook you up, okay? And I guess Greg, he's like under the peer pressure. He's like, okay, I guess I'll buy the watch. And on top of that, let's see, Kendall, he told Greg, I don't think I will have to burn you for, you know, telling the law where I got this evidence from. And then he later goes back and says, I might not have to burn you. Actually, I might have to. We'll see about it. And then he uses that as leverage to be like, hey, don't do the joint defense. If anything, if you stay with my team, then I won't burn you at all. And it's just like, you know, Greg's trying to hitch himself on to whoever could benefit him at the end of the day. He's, you know, very self-preserving, and Kendall's just not a reliable option. Just like Tom told Ken, like, I've seen, what did he say? Like, basically he said, I've seen you get fucked over a lot, but Logan has never been fucked over once. And I think Greg was starting to realize that, being on Team Ken for a little bit the first half of the season. Anyways, Greg is like, I want to ask out Comfrey. Is that okay? Was he gonna say, is that okay? No, because he was gonna be like, I was gonna ask out Comfrey, but then she said something about like doing a smear campaign against me, and then Kendall, he's like held up on the, oh, you want to ask Comfrey out? No, like, that's not allowed. You're not allowed to do that. And then he just goes off on him. He calls him the world's biggest parasite, a tapeworm, basically a leech to the family, which, like, he's not wrong, but like, come on. Come on. He helped you. He helped you out. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Greg was sort of re-evaluating who he wants to be loyal to. I mean, either way, he's kept pretty strong ties with Tom. He was able to negotiate a little bit with Logan, so maybe he's positioned to move up on the end of season 3. We shall see. Alright, dumb question. Is Greg family at all? He's like a distant cousin. So he is Ewan's grandson. Ewan is the older brother to Logan. So that would make Greg like, what, the second cousin? I don't think it's like implied that Greg was well off, or that he was, you know, very involved in the family. What we did learn in season 1, when he met the mom, Caroline, we learned that she was like, oh my god, Greg, like, we called you Greg the Egg because you had the egg-shaped head as a baby. So it's like, okay, yeah, he was around when he was younger. And then she also talked about how his dad wanted to like suck off like all the men or something. at a parade. Like, Logan and Caroline have made a lot of comments about Greg's dad running away from his family so that way he can, sleep with men, basically. And doesn't seem to be like an entirely sore spot for Greg, but yeah, either way. We also learned that his mom was cut off from Ewan, so she probably had like bad spending habits. So my headcanon is that maybe like first few years they kind of grew up a little bit close to like the Roys and stuff, and they did whatever, but maybe like around the whole time, I don't know, like maybe like early on in his life they started drifting apart. That's my headcanon. Let's see. Oh, back to Kendall nagging Connor about keeping his coat off at the party. Willa actually stands up to Comfrey. She's like, he tells Comfrey to fuck off about the coat, and Comfrey does. She's like, well, this is above my pay grade. I did what I could. And I thought that was a really rare, nice moment between them. Sure, Connor and Willa don't really have like the typical idyllic marriage, especially because of like the age gap and the power gap with like their wealth and stuff, but it's a situation that works for both of them and they both seem pretty happy about it. So yeah, oddly enough, this seems to be like the best functioning relationship that we've seen so far, even if it is a little stomach churning. Let's see. We also get Roman going into the treehouse so that way he can speak to Lucas directly. He is trying to rizz Lucas up so that way Lucas will be willing to talk with Logan. They literally talk shit about how bad Waystar's streaming app is and like how long it takes to load. So Roman's like, oh, how about we go pee-pee on the app? How about we go do that like for real right now? And Lucas is into it. Lucas is a freak. He's into it. So they both go into the bathroom. Roman says something about like, oh, I can't pee in front of other men. And I'm just like, sarcasm? Either way, it's like a long list, like another thing to add to his long list of issues. But yeah, this really does help the initial, like land the initial conversation with Mattson and Waystar. Yeah. Roman's charisma strikes again. He's been pretty good at pulling in people for Logan, despite his I guess unprofessionalism when it comes to speaking. Yeah, he does have a few tricks up his sleeve. Another thing, we get Kendall. He backs out of his song performance, the whole performance of what he's. Oh, okay, yeah, he backs out of singing the song, right? The Billy Joel song at the last minute. And even like, what do they call it? The Tiny Wu-Tang? He's like, yeah, don't have them perform either. What if I wanted to see Tiny Wu-Tang? Either way, Tiny Wu-Tang out. The ending song out. Kendall, he backs out of this whole song performance. And to me, it kind of even felt like a sobering moment of, him closing this egotistical era for him in general. Like, we learned that the whole federal case is falling apart anyways, and it's like he just took another L basically, and I think he's starting to realize how much this whole family business drama is affecting him, kind of, question mark. He says that it's all bullshit, and Comfrey, oh wait, yeah, he says it's all bullshit and blah blah blah, but the thing is, he did go around like still trying to be in control of some things at the party, so it wasn't like a full hard stop. But I do think that it's like the beginning of a change for him, because we do see him become a little bit more stoic in the following episode. Anyways, Greg asks Comfrey out and she agrees to go on a date with him. To me, it kind of seemed like she does it as like an FU to Kendall, because she was like complaining about Kendall before she says, okay, yeah, it's like, if you want to ask me out, like, you should ask me out. Like, I'm not gonna say no just because Kendall says no. But yeah, that's a win for Greg. For the theme of this episode, I put down loneliness is Ken's theme this episode. Naomi's watch, which was sort of like just not sentimental, and the invited guests, just all of them not being family. And like, even though he had this huge swanky birthday party that he was so excited for, he realized at the end of it, nobody who really loved him was there. And the people who loved him, who did show up, the people who he loved that did show up don't actually love him back. So he's very lonely at the end of this episode. The things that really mattered to him there just did not come into fruition. Also learned that Tom is unhappy while Greg is happy. Tom can't be happy because Greg is happy because of like a hierarchy or something. He's just like really miffed that A, he took his drugs in the wrong order, so he can't like be in a good mood, and B, that Greg is sort of buzzing on a high for going on a date with Comfrey, and Tom's just kind of like, well, I can't be happy now because you're happy. So I think Tom always has to one-up Greg in one way or another. That's probably how he feels. So they are working together. They do have like brotherly love for each other, but at the end of the day, they're still trying to outcompete each other. Well, I think Tom more so than Greg. I think Tom is like more weary of Greg sort of usurping him, whereas Greg is he's just trying to do his best. This is the kind of vibe that I'm getting right now. And the kids that probably love him, he neglects. Right? They had a homemade gift for him and he couldn't even find it. He was too busy drowning in his own ego. That's so sad. Let's see. I put down, the last thing. Roman dickhead rally after winning Lucas over. He was such like an asshole at the end of the episode. Just really like high on his own win. And then Shiv is trying to tell him like, oh, you know, like Dad's just trying to use you and whatever. And he's just like, oh, well, whatever. You're just jealous that it's not you. And then Kendall tells him you're not a real person. Which I also think is like another moment of lucidity for him, where he's kind of just like all of this is fake, I think, right? Like in the grand scheme of things, like if you're to zoom out from all of it, all of this is just like petty family drama that's just really affecting a multi-billion-dollar business. I think that's something we could talk about more as we conclude this series, but yeah, something where he says you're not a real person and just sort of like it's all bullshit, like along that kind of line, just like the fakeness of their world is something that I've been taking notes of. But yeah, Roman's super cocky this episode. Okay, alright. I took a lot of notes for his birthday, man, damn. Alright, Chanthashire. I'm gonna zoom through this one again. I noted let's see, Logan watching the board meeting, which felt very similar to the vote of no confidence. They had the board meeting and he was watching through the window. He's using his presence to impose, let's see, like fear and stuff to try and get people to comply without saying a word. Let's see, Kendall, he shaved his head. Was his head shaven for his birthday party? No, he had hair for his birthday party. Well, he was kind of bald-headed in for his mom's wedding. So that was like another clue to me where it's kind of like, oh, is this gosh, dude, I got a lot of notes for this episode. Okay, we might be, I didn't even send a Discord thing. Oh my gosh, I forgot. We'll be as per usual, maybe rolling into the Discord about 10 minutes late. Let's see. Yeah. What was I saying? Yeah, Kendall shaved his head, which kind of felt like, you know, like I said, him closing a book. Closing the book on his sort of egotistical chapter. He does seem a little bit more mellowed out in this episode. Yeah. I don't know if mellowed out is the word, but you do get sort of like the vibes that he had in season 2, you know, really sad and pathetic Kendall. So I guess he did not have an awesome 40th birthday party. Let's see, we have Caroline's sad motherhood, or like her, yeah. She's just like not a good mom. To be honest, yeah, the Roy kids really got the cream of the crop when it came to picking parents. Logan, awesome dad. Caroline, amazing mother. Yeah, so just like the first example of this would be when Kendall wants to talk to her about like the things that happen at Shiv's wedding. She's like, oh, well, you know, it's kind of late for heavy talk. Maybe we could talk about it in the morning. And then he wakes up in the morning hoping to talk to his mom and about his feelings and stuff. And she's just not there. She's like, oh, well, you know, I had to go get eggs. She like leaves a note and says, okay, I'll see you guys next time. Well, we see her shafting Kendall once more in her own wedding to appease Logan because Peter Munyon, her fiance, wants Logan to be there at the wedding, and Logan's just like, I don't want to see Kendall. Like, fuck Kendall, I don't want to see him. So Caroline's just like, oh, well, you know, you could just like wait for 4 hours and like miss the whole wedding. It's fine. It's only 4 hours. So she's putting Kendall's I don't know, you know, she's just putting him aside in favor of her fiance and Logan, which is also like kind of like because she's only been with Peter for a few months, because they said 5 months ago she was with a completely different man, which also raises red flags for Roman, and it's not just because he wants to marry his mom. Let's see, we get Jerry drawing a boundary with Roman. She says to him, stop sending me naughty pictures, like I need to tell you right now, like that shit needs to stop. And then he's kind of like, oh well whatever, like nah, right? He's not taking her seriously. Let's see, Peter Munyon, we learn what he does, right? Like, how does he make his money? He cuts costs in nursing homes. So he trims the fat, all the extra costs in nursing homes. So you would be, I don't know, it's like you're reading or you're experiencing these characters and how they act and stuff. So like the first time I watched this, I was like, oh, Peter Money, like he doesn't seem that bad. Like the mom really seems to like him or whatever. Like maybe he'd be a good husband. But then you learn what he does. You know, he's firing nurses in nursing homes, cutting costs so that way his company can make more money. It's like, well, damn. Let's see. They mention, I think Comfrey it was, that mentioned that somebody is trying to do a Curse of the Roy podcast, similar to like the Curse of the Kennedys, which would be a deep dive podcast. And they mention that they wanted to do a deep dive on Connor's mom, Rose Roy, who is Logan's sister. That is like this is her third mention, and every time she's mentioned it's like a really soft spot for Logan. And then also like the waiter incident, the car crash, the waiter that Kendall was involved with the killing of. So yeah, that really like kind of put Kendall off balance, and he's like, yeah, keep an eye on that one, like I really don't want that one getting out. So I don't know if it's like an actual plot point, but I do think that it's important that they mention those three incidents, the waiter, Rose, and Connor's mom, that there is sort of a murky past to dig up with those. Okay, and let's see, we have Greg moving on from Comfrey already. He literally just asked her out last episode, and this time he was just kind of like, yeah, I don't know, like, and when she finds out who the real me is, like, I don't really know if we'll be able to get along and stuff, like, and then she was like, oh, well, you know, she'd make a good date ladder. Wait, do I have time to show you guys? I have time to show you guys this clip? Maybe not. It's gonna take me a second to find it. I don't want to waste more time. Well, yeah, she says Comfrey would be a good dating ladder. He points out like some other girl who's a Contessa, who he's like, oh, maybe I could go ask that girl out. And they're all kind of laughing at him. They're like, oh yeah, she's out of your league, blah blah blah. And one thing that I thought was funny was when they're talking about out of the league, Greg says, oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. And it's really subtle, but you see him pointing at Tom and Shiv, which is like another dig at Tom again. So we do see him in very small ways kind of standing up to himself, or standing up for himself in these situations, trying to establish a little bit of a spine. Let's see, Connor talks to Willa about how their relationship and like is like bringing up rumors. Yeah, just basically like, are they dating? Like, what's going on over there? And she's like, oh, well, it's okay. We could keep our relationship underground and stuff, and like it'd be totally fine. But Connor was like, actually, no, I was thinking about the other thing. I actually want us to get married, and then people will shut up about, you know, how we met and stuff. And so he proposes to her at the like wedding, was it like reception or like pre-dinner or whatever, at the wedding like venue or whatever, right? He proposes to her in front of like a bunch of people. People are like, oh my gosh, they're watching, they're cheering, and she's just kind of standing there. She's like, yeah, maybe. And basically she's coerced into it. She's like, I'll think about it. And he's like, okay, well, I'm just gonna smile and pretend that you said yes because we're in front of everybody right now. So that's kind of where they are. Will they get married? Ooh. Connor and Willa being once again the exemplary relationship in this series. Strange question, isn't the show supposed to be inspired by an IRL family in the media empire the father had? Yes, that is correct. There is one family, the Murdoch family, that they are heavily inspired by, but I do know that they said that they've drawn a lot of like inspirations from I think Kendall's car accident also happened to like one of the Kennedys. I think there was like a car crash that was covered up, but they like basically like a lot of scandals from the ultra wealthy I think have been plot points that have been incorporated into here as well. Yeah, very I do think it's like a lot, it's definitely most heavily inspired by the Murdochs, but they do like put in a little bit of other stuff in there too. So I think it's like, if you're interested in learning about that kind of stuff, this is kind of like a nice little diving board to to see like, oh, did this actually happen, or like, yeah. Let's see. More people speculating about the Carrie and Logan relationship. I thought it was interesting that Marcia allows, you know, Carrie and Logan to fraternate, is that the word, with each other, which is very different with Reiya Jarrell, because Reiya Jarrell, she was like, you know, very like hurt by that. And one of the running theories is that it's because Reiya is actually a threat. She is like a competent, established woman. She is the CEO of, or she was the CEO of like a rival media empire. So Marcia was more threatened by Reiya than she is with Carrie. Carrie's more of just like a plaything for Logan, you know, like every king has his mistress, his concubine, and that is all that Carrie is in the eyes of Marcia and most likely Logan. Let's see, we also get a little bit more explored with Shiv's relationship with her mother. We've seen Caroline be pretty nasty to Shiv before. During Shiv's wedding, she went around asking all of the guests, oh, how long do you think Tom and Shiv are gonna last, right? As an icebreaker. We do get a little bit more of that explored, where she says, I should have had dogs, not kids. And then she also blames her lack of like motherly instinct or like motherhood to her kid, or to Shiv. She blames that on Shiv. I mean, basically, the exact quote is, I may have been a spotty mother, but you were a shitty daughter. And then Shiv argues, she's like, oh, I was 10 years old. And she's like, well, you were 13 and you knew how to twist the knife, right? Which is like, it's just like Logan, you know? Like, why are the parents beefing with their kids? But yeah, she's holding a grudge against that. And she does admit that, like, oh, maybe some people... Actually, wait, I'm gonna hold that thought because that is my notes. Caroline is, we learned that Caroline is renegotiating the divorce terms with Logan as well. This will also be important in this final episode because she wants to reopen those negotiations for the divorce, so that way she can like sweeten the deal a little bit for her and Peter, and like Logan's open to that. Like, you know, they're renegotiating, so they're talking. And then she finally admits to Shiv. Caroline says, you made the right choice to not have kids. Some people aren't meant to be mothers. And she's like alluding that as like me and you, like if you think I'm a shitty mother, like right back at you, like that's gonna be you too, bitch. Which is a crazy thing for a mom to say to her daughter, but that definitely really sits with Shiv. Let's see, Shiv, I'm going to skip ahead in my notes just a little bit. I'm going to skip the Kendall Logan dinner and get back to that one in a second, because I want to tie Caroline's nastiness about Shiv not being a good mother by basically Shiv was ready to mount Tom when she got home. I was thinking, like, does she want a baby because of what her mom said? Basically, she's like rambling to Tom about making her own plans to be CEO, but once again, she doesn't consider Tom's place within her overarching plans. And either way, Tom gets roped into like the whole little dirty talk and stuff, and she's a little bit too honest in it, where she calls herself out of your league and like, you love me even though I don't love you. And Tom, you could tell he's hurt by it in the moment, but you know, he rolls with the punches anyways. He confronts her about it the next day, and she literally says, she's like, oh my god, it's so manipulative for you to bring up what we talked about, like, you know, in our dirty talk, like, you know, it's not that serious, like, I can't believe you're even bringing this up right now, like, ew, okay, gross, like, don't say that kind of stuff. He's clearly hurt by that. And she does kind of reel back on the whole, like, oh, I want to have babies and whatever with you, and reels back on it and says, oh yeah, you know, we could freeze our eggs, and you know, there's a whole 10-year timeline, so in case like somebody dies or if we get a divorce or whatever. Basically, she's showing that she's not committed to him whatsoever. And we do get a question from Roman in Kendall's birthday party episode, where he was like, well, were you hoping that Tom would go to jail so basically she could have like her own little promiscuous freedom despite, you know, being married to Tom still, maybe even like divorce Tom while he's in jail, you know, either way, just like an out from her relationship with him. And that made me think the same thing when she talks about freezing her eggs, and like, you know, she was like, oh yeah, we could get it destroyed if we decide to divorce or if one of us dies. Yeah, she's just like not committed to him whatsoever. And I think the imbalance in their relationship is growing loud and clear. She tries to reassure him by saying, because he questions her, he's like, oh, well, do you think that's gonna happen? Like, do you actually like want to have a baby with me? And she tries to reassure him by saying, I may not love you, but I do love you. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? My boy Tom Wamsgams deserves so much better. He deserves so much better than her. Like, sure, maybe her like pedigree and like her wealth and her status had something to do with him pursuing her to begin with, but I without a doubt, this man loves her unconditionally, and I feel like even if she was broke, he would stay with her. If they were to both go, okay, I don't know, if she was broke and he was still rich, I don't know, but I think if they were to both go flat broke, I think he would do it. I think he would. I do think that he loves her. I can't say the same about it being the other way around. But yeah, she doesn't even want Tom to have her babies even after her death. Whereas for him, it was like a no-brainer. He's like, yeah, if I die, I want you to carry my child. For her, it was like, yeah, fuck Shiv, man. Okay, and then the night before that, Kendall invites Logan to have a dinner to air out all of their grievances before Caroline's wedding. Logan, he's like, oh, did you like poison my food, Kendall? He doesn't say it explicitly, but he does imply it. And he's like, oh, well, you know, I'm an old man. I have a special diet or whatever. Kendall knows what he's talking about. Either way, Logan calls Iverson, Kendall's son, over. And he's like, hey, Iverson, how about you try this food first? Like, tell Grandpa how it is. Basically, you know, I don't think Logan seriously believes that Kendall would try to poison him, but I do think that he wants it to be a power play, that he's like, I want you to think that I think that you poisoned me, so that way you could see that I'm willing to put your child's life on the line, you know, like, kind of like 4D chessing it, right? Either way, fucked up move, very, very fucked up move. But Ken, he comes clean and he says that he's willing to exile himself, you know, basically cash out and fuck off. He wants to exile himself from the company and the family. And Logan, he rescinds that initial birthday offer and says, okay, yeah, it's a consideration. Kendall, he's adamant. He's like, no, Dad, I want out. Like, fuck this. It's all bullshit. I want out. And he does come at his dad for saying, like, you profit on like the worst emotions from society, like your fear mongering and all of that. And Logan, he does admit to profiting off of hate. The exact words was, I think, from Kendall. He says you turn black bile into silver dollars. But Logan also, he does admit to it, but he also downplays it as just telling the weather. And and then Logan does more mind games against Kendall, where he's like, well, what about that waiter, huh? Like, you're calling me a bad person and like doing all that stuff. Well, what about that waiter? Were you guys gonna go off and like have gay sex or something, huh? Like, are you gay? You gay, bro? Right? And like, and really just like needling at Kendall, being like, you're a drug addict, and like, you know, like you gay LMAO, and like all of that kind of stuff. And he leaves him on this note and says, I cleaned up your mess and I'm the bad person, like get real, right? And he just kind of leaves Kendall just there. Like the offer to cash out and fuck off is completely rescinded, but Kendall's desire is made clear that he is, you know, he's like, I'm over this and I don't want to be part of this anymore. Okay, last 3 points. So Mattson, we learned that Mattson wants a merger of equals, not a buyout. The Waystar team, they talk about the pros and cons of this. The cons is that the family status is diluted within the company. It shakes the executive structure up a lot because you're going to be merging, like, you know, the CEOs, the CFOs, the COOs, CIOs, all of the C's, O's stuff. Those guys, it's gonna be a complete shuffle of their board. So a lot of the higher ups their jobs are in danger. So it's not really like the best position for people like Frank, Carl, Jerry, but oh, and then also equals. They really weren't fond of the word of it being equals. And yeah, okay. And then the pros of this deal was that, one, it's Gojo has really good tech. They have a really good tech base. We've learned that Waystar has a very shitty like mobile app that, like, you know, takes forever to load, whereas Gojo, like, they already have that infrastructure built in. It's really good for scaling the company. It just makes sense because, you know, their media, like Gojo is like tech, like streaming media, and Waystar is like traditional legacy media. It's a marriage that makes sense, and it does provide real scale and a very clear future for where both businesses can take their ideas and stuff. And Logan, he's like, yeah, you know what, it makes sense, and I think I would be stupid to like not talk to him about it, so let's see what we can do with it. So they do have, do they have a chat? This one's just called Dick Pic, which you guys already know. You guys already know. Wait, let me get, where is it? There we go, here it is. Roman does, he feels pretty good about getting Lucas into the conversation. He feels like he's hit this out of the park, and he decides to text Jerry a bit of a celebratory message. The first time I watched it, I was like, well, who's, like, that's clearly a real peepee. Like, who's peep? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it could be like a prosthetic peepee. Either way, who made it? Whose is it? We see one, and he doesn't send it to Jerry, actually. Jerry, the text message does not come through on Jerry's phone. It comes through on Logan's phone. And in the text message said that it was for Jerry. So Logan's looking at this. He's like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And we look over at Roman, and he's making this face. He tells Roman, like, hey, I need to talk to you right meow. I like this. What the fuck, dude? I need to talk to you right meow. And when Roman walks into the room, he's like, are you a sicko? It's not. And I think the funny thing is that it's not the fact that Jerry, it's not the fact that, like, he's sending these messages to an employee of the company. It's not the fact that it's unprofessional. It's the fact that Jerry's a million years old. That's the thing that Logan is upset about. Which I think is pretty interesting. Well, I'm gonna circle back real quick. So yeah, Shiv, she outs Roman's thing for Jerry to discredit him, so that way she could be the #1 kid. She tells Logan, she's like, oh yeah, like he's been having a thing for Jerry and all. Like, she's tattling on Roman basically, and telling Logan, like, he's been having a thing for Jerry, blah 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 blah. So that way she can, you know, try and get the slight up to be the heir apparent. And then she also goes and pulls Jerry aside, talking to her, but it's very clearly kind of like a move, but Jerry's not budging. She's like, oh, well, you know, like, if you feel harmed by this in any way, like, you should let us know, and all of that kind of stuff. And Jerry's like, oh, no, it's okay. Like, I've dealt with this before. I have it under control. It's not that big of a problem, whatever. And Shiv she kind of, her tone moves a little bit more threatening, where she's like, oh, well, you know, if you can't, as the general counsel, if you can't even like handle your own sexual misconduct, like I don't, man, like that's kind of like, but yeah, I don't think those really come to fruition for Shiv. Those two moves weren't really much things. Logan, when he's talking to Roman, he's like, maybe we gotta kick Jerry out. Logan wants Jerry out to kick Roman's habit of, you know, being attracted to an old woman, I guess, which made me also think, like, is this like a pattern of toxic masculinity with Logan? He called Tabitha like a nice piece of tail. He is upset with Roman for sending those pictures to Jerry, not because it's unprofessional, but because Jerry is old, as well as the culture of abuse that he let thrived on the cruises. So yeah, very, very interesting perspective that Logan is viewing this from. He's like, okay, sending dick pics to your coworkers, I can tolerate, but sending them to an old woman, you're nasty. You're disgusting, Roman. Like, I'm sorry, Logan. Has it ever occurred to you that Jerry could perhaps be a gilf? Okay, all right, that's rude. And the very last scene that we have is Kendall is in the swimming pool drinking a beer, and bubbles start coming out of his nose, so it doesn't look too good for him. Yeah, I mean, this is the, I guess you could say it's the second time we've seen him connected with water. I do think that the imagery with the water does play a little bit more in the next season, but yeah, like we've seen Kendall, you know, his whole downward spiral kind of, it took a sharp turn when it came to the car accident where they you know, the kid drowned, and then now Kendall's in the pool with a similar drowning imagery. Yeah, I don't really know like where this thread leads to, the drowning motif, or like the drowning imagery and like the water motif, but I know it's one of the more common themes that people who are really into Succession seem to pick up on, but its importance, I don't know. I haven't quite figured it out yet. Anyways, those were my notes. Let me go ahead and see if we had any submissions in here. Oh, we did. We had quite a few. Okay. Allow me to hurry myself up. I mean, we only have one episode tonight, so I guess it's not too bad. Let me hide the meat. Okie dokie. All right, who are we investing in and selling and skipping this week? We are investing this week. We have two people investing in Logan Roy and one person investing in Kendall. Roman, I mean, honestly, Logan, I feel like is a very fair one to invest in every single week because, I mean, he's the king. Unequivocally, he's shown himself to be the king. Every time you see his health, like, you know, go down, or like his thinking start to be questioned, he seems to bounce back. He's the man. He's him. We also have one invest in Kendall Roy. I do agree with, like, after like Chantshire episode, episode 8, just seeing him be a little bit more like, you know, he seems to have mellowed out. Like, I feel like I prefer this calm Kendall over manic beginning of season 3 Kendall any day, because it's very scary to see him go, like, you know, fly so high in his ego, because you just know he's gonna crash hard. So yeah, I do think that, like, Kendall, he's starting to get his head back into the game a little bit, even though he wants out of the game. But either way, I think it's good to invest in him, because this investing is not about like him winning the crown, but like, you know, just him winning something that might be good for him. I don't know. Selling Roman Roy. Roman did fuck up massively this week. Who knows how this whole Jerry dick pic thing is going to play out for him. Probably not well in the eyes of his father. He definitely lost a lot of respect, a lot of aura from that one blunder. We're also selling Greg this week. Greg, I need an explanation. I should have asked for explanation. I think Greg's selling him this week. Let's see. I mean, we have seen him be pretty slimy. He does readily flirt with the Contessa while he's still on his date with Comfrey at the wedding. You know, Comfrey is still there. It's not like she's not there anymore. And he's still trying to chat up some other ladies. So that's a pretty valid reason to sell him. We also have people wanting to skip Logan, skip Kendall, and skip Shiv. I think all of those are fair. Who is your pick to be Logan's successor? Mr. Gregory Hirsch. Nobody suspects the dark horse. I mean, he is kind of on the up. He is kind of on the up. We do see him, like, sure, he's a little bit more sleazy, but maybe that confidence can take him somewhere within that next season? Question mark. Also, Logan's successor, Logan Roy. He will live forever. It doesn't seem like he's stopping anytime soon. We've seen him like have a little bit of a hiccup with the UTI, but he's back on his game, you know? Any favorite moments this week? Are you a sicko? That one was my favorite. As soon as I saw that, I was like, I need a meme. I need a meme of it. Odd sibling family sex organ talk with the JJ tunnel. That's a sentence. This is the first time this sentence has ever been uttered. You guys are the first in your bloodline to hear anybody utter those words. Congratulations. Congratulations. Okay, any thoughts to share about the show? That was an oopsie daisy? Oh, like the pee-pee part? The pee-pee part? How would you even market this show? Merch-wise, commercial-wise, seems like something hard to cut down to a minute. That's exactly the thing. I feel like this show was able to, you know, I mean, I feel like even in the grand scheme of things, people don't really talk about this show as like being one that's commonly watched. When I try to get my friends onto the show, I have the worst time selling it because I'm just like, oh yeah, it's a bunch of these rich people. Like, there's no way to sell it in a way that makes it sound as compelling as it really is. I think you just, I don't know, even like the commercials and stuff, like if you're to watch the trailers, it's really only exciting if you know what's going on. I feel like this show is like the ultimate, like, trust me, bro, it's good. Trust me. But maybe that's something we could talk about when we finish up the series, because I don't want to yap too much longer. We could go ahead and head into the Discord to go watch the very, very, very final episode of wait, here we go, of season 3. It's only one episode, sadly. Oh, sorry, it's not even the right one. There we go. So next week we'll go ahead and chat and recap all of season 3, and we probably have more time to yap because just about things in general because of this one episode to go over. But yeah, right now we're gonna go into the Discord. We're about 25 minutes late, but it's okay. And we're going to be watching episode 9, All the Bells Say. Matten's vision for the Gojo Waystar relationship leads Shiv and Roman to manage the fallout while Logan weighs his options. This one is so freaking good, guys. And I'm sorry to leave you on a cliffhanger, because I had to wait 2 years for season 4 to premiere, so I kind of want you guys to wait a week for us to continue into season 4. So we're only going to watch this one episode, and it's just great. It's just great. It's probably one of my favorite finales of the entire series. So yeah, let's go ahead and head into the Discord right now. And I will go ahead and start the events and see you there. If you've been sitting down for as long as I have, make sure you give your body a nice big stretch. Don't forget to stay hydrated. And last but not least, treat yourself to something special. Maybe even a snack? Or a sweet treat to enjoy during a watch-along. I think I'm gonna eat some ice cream. Yeah, I'm gonna eat some ice cream actually. Okay, alright, I'll see you guys there in a second. Until next time, bye! Thanks for hanging out. I worry Greg might be peaking in my opinion. He's due for a fall. Ooh. I won't speak on that. Not that there is anything to speak on, but yeah. I do like that take though. I do like seeing, I don't know. I like seeing him get humbled. I like seeing him turn to the dark side and then getting humbled. Alright, anyways, let's go watch this banger of a finale. See you guys in the Discord. Bye bye.